Hey, welcome to another episode of Enta Asks, where we hear epic stories from great people about the businesses that you want to work with.
Click below and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Or if you want to be on our show and tell your epic story, our link to get on our show is in the description below.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Enta Asks. I'm Adam Colazetti.
And I'm Caitlin Bullock.
And we are super excited to have Hartley Harris, President of Catch Engineering, in the studio with us today.
Thanks.
Welcome. And last time we got to talk to you about all the amazing playgrounds you get to play in, right? Or rivers you get to fish in, if you will. You know, you got your value engineering, you got innovation R&D, you've got electrical expertise and everything to support that.
Truly.
So, but today we want to take this one to
11.
We're taking it to 11. All right, this one goes to 11. So if you haven't seen This is Spinal Tap, that's a reference there. So we're not crazy.
We're not crazy, no.
I promise.
A little crazy.
Interesting. We're interesting.
Unique? There we go. How are you going to take Catch Engineering to 11?
That's complicated, I suppose. Okay. You need to know the future. But what we think is happening, like we can see all these innovation happening, right?
Yeah.
Industries are changing. So not only are the industries we currently service changing, that they need more information with more with less, right?
Naturally.
How do we do, that's value engineering, more with less. How do we acquire more data so we can make better choices? How do we control things? How do we address, labor within certain areas? So a lot of those are control systems, acquisition of data, all of those things that we do, right?
Yeah.
And how do we pack that into helping our clients make different choices or better choices or make their operations more efficient? So that is a fascinating space, especially for electron guys. Right? It is a fascinating space.
So I'm going to ask you a question here. So you're not only saying, okay, here's how you can grab more data, but here's what you can do with it.
But you can process it all of a sudden, right?
Yeah.
So now we've got our computing power has gone out. AI is super hot buzzword right now, right? So all of those things, you can take those mountains of data and you can convert it into knowledge, and this is how things actually work, and this is why things fail.
Right.
And that has been going on in the industry for a few years, but we're starting to see it click around the world. Right. Everybody's talking about it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So do you guys play in the AI world?
No.
No.
We are not programmer. That is not the space that we do.
Okay.
Right.
But using that data, collecting that data, and helping our clients apply it. Those spaces around that. There are super big brain people in the middle there.
No, good. Well, because that so many people collect data and then they kind of just sit.
What do I do with it?
Yeah. So you can take this unstructured massive numbers and turn it into something that actually tells a story. And what's cool is that, one of the biggest things companies struggle with is this tribal knowledge that lives in your head, right? Based on years of experience.
This is how we did it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you can turn that into something tangible that you can repeat. And
the hardware for doing all that is shrinking. It is more accessible to people.
Yeah.
Sensors are getting cheaper. There's all of this fascinating innovation happening within electronics and whatnot, right?
Totally.
That companies can start using. But we're also seeing a shift within the industries in the world, but in Alberta too. We're moving to investigating other sources of energy. How do we move beyond oil? It's not a word that we like to say in Alberta.
I know.
The rest of the world is pressuring us into doing it, right?
Right? This happens.
Well,
but we got it.
and when you look at adding in, sustainable energy into the mix, right? Like we've seen all these innovation spaces, right? You've got these big water runoff, for example, happening in the field. Stick a turbine on there, make some power, right?
Truly. Oh, and we love power generation. That is probably one of my favorite things to do.
Sweet spot.
As we're replacing all of the coal plants within Alberta over the next almost 10 years. We have to replace that. And so clients are trying to figure out what are they going to do? How do I control my destiny?
That's right.
How does the industry, are we going to put up thousands of solar panels, wind turbines? It's a mix, right? And it includes new energy and, energy storage and,
storage. That's a problem,
super hot right now,
Yeah.
right? How do I time shift my energy usage as we get into
Energon cubes, I think is what you're talking about.
the future, right?
Yeah.
Nerd reference.
Okay.
But just time shifting energy usage. So batteries, large energy storage devices like flow batteries. I've heard of a reservoir in Alberta somewhere that they're storing all the water up here, and then at certain times of the day they run it down to generate power at useful times or at value times.
Nice.
It's fascinating.
That is really fascinating. And you guys play in this world.
Yeah.
You are this world.
We love power generation. It is probably one of our favorite things. Not a lot of people, there's projects are just starting to grab as we understand what unloading coal within Alberta looks like as new renewable sources come into play.
So can I ask you a question that like I'm personally curious about?
Sure.
Is like everybody's like, ooh, solar energy. But back when I was in university, like solar panels were just starting to really be developed. Don't date me on that one. Okay. But the technology was heavily supported by government funding. It wasn't sustainable.
Truly.
Where are we now?
Every year, the cost on solar panels comes down.
Okay.
So it's really an R&D and an innovation cost, right? We're pushing more watts for less dollars.
Okay.
And so it's coming. Is it there yet? It depends on the project and what energy costs and what province or state you're in.
Right.
It truly depends.
Okay.
And so there's no magic number yet.
Fair enough.
But it's cheaper than whenever all of us were in university. It's cheaper than that, and the cost keeps coming down.
Right. Okay. So like it is getting more and more tangible to be a fully sustainable solution.
More and more tangible. But the sun still doesn't shine at night.
It doesn't.
So how do you shift that power from being generated or created during the day into the useful hours that I need it?
Right.
And that's part of the transformation that's happening within the energy industry in terms of energy storage, time shifting, flow batteries, lithium ion, all of these storage products.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
That is so cool because I know that's always the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We can get the energy. How do we store it? Right? Because it's not.
The wind's not always blowing.
The wind's not always blowing. Well, unless you live in Alberta, it's really, really windy. Yeah. No, that's amazing. So how does somebody get a hold of you? Because they've got this idea, they've got this project, they want to take their power generation ideas to the next level. How do they get a hold of you?
They can go to our website, catchengineering.com. They can send us an email at info@catchengineering.com.
Well, thank you so much for being on this show.
This has been really next level, Hartley. We really appreciate it.
This one's going to 11, guys. So, right? Turn it up. Turn it up. Get a hold of Hartley and the Catch Engineering team. We're going to put the link below. Thank you so much for joining us on Enta Asks. Oh, can I get a mic drop?
That was so
epic. Join us next time on Enta Asks.